Okay, it's great to be back, and welcome all panelists. Please, if everyone could mute their microphones, just so that we can have no feedback or any sort of responsible things coming in or whatever. We get all different noises sometimes when we do this roundtable discussion. So for this roundtable discussion, we're going to be talking about leading safely and sustainably, responsibility in the face of shared survival. And with us today, we have, lots of panelists here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 panelists with us today. So I'm very excited to have this discussion. So what we're going to do, panelists, is we're going to do a 30-second to 60-second introduction from each of yourselves. And then what we'll then do after that is we will then get into the questions, and then we'll begin the discussion. So we'll start with Sule, then we'll go to Nolwenn, and then we'll go to Chantal, and then we'll go through everybody after that. So do you want to start us off?
Yes. Okay, let me begin. Hello from Istanbul. Actually, as you know, Turkey is not a member of the European Union, but we are very close and having the most connections in terms of trade. So, I mean, Turkey and European Union is very much intertwined in many ways. So I am the first AI writer in Turkey. I have a column of 9 years. And now I'm a consultant speaker and just recently the founder of an initiative called Human-Centric AI Lab. So this is shortly about me.
Thank you for joining us. And it is Soleil, right?
Shule.
Shule. Okay, thank you.
It's like a Schule in English or Schule in German school.
Oh, I like that. Okay, great name. Shule. Thank you for joining us. Nolwenn. No. Oh, I always forget the. Do you know what? I do apologize, panelists. If I get your name wrong, just please correct me because I am terrible with names. I'm not gonna lie. I am terrible. So, Nolwenn. Yeah, did you want to unmute your microphone and please introduce yourself to us? You have to unmute your microphone. Let me see if I can unmute your microphone. There we go. Oh, I can't unmute your microphone for some reason. Do you want to quickly unmute your microphone? Is the microphone down at the bottom? Just press that and it'll, no? Okay, we'll go to Chantal and then we'll come back. Oh, there you go. See, it's unmuted now. You're good. No, we still can't hear you. We still can't hear you. I don't know if it's the microphone. I don't know if there's some settings. We'll come back to you. Chantal, please introduce yourself.
Good evening to the Southern Hemisphere people. Good morning to you guys out in the States. My name is Chantal Buerta. I'm an identity architect from South Africa, currently traveling the world. I'm based in Mauritius at the moment. What I do is I build integrity in leaders from the inside out. And I believe we've got the definition of integrity all wrong. Integrity is wholeness. It's got nothing to do with doing the right thing, even when no one's watching. So if we want to create psychological safety, we've first got to be whole as leaders and then create whole teams.
Well, thank you for joining us, Chantal. And I couldn't agree with you more. Jesper, welcome. Please introduce yourself. And it's great to have you join us.
Thank you. I will just first say the waiting music we had at the backstage. We should get Elon Musk to send out a rocket with a big speaker and just play that sound to the whole earth so everyone can relax a bit. I already feel I was like really. But yeah, I'm Jesper, co-founder of Train for Good. So we help, of course, people get in shape, and at the same time, we help struggling communities do better. So that's essentially what we do in a nutshell.
Well, I like the quick introduction, Jesper. I mean, it's straight to the point, and it's great to have you with us as well. I think this is your first time with us, I believe. So, so welcome and thank you for joining us today. We'll now go over to Sunil. Please introduce yourself and welcome.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm Sunil Subeda from the Netherlands, near Amsterdam. I'm 22 years in the IT field, more than 22 years my own company, Subed, and I'm working for more than 12 years in the cybersecurity field. Ethical hacking, pen testing, more the technical side of cybersecurity. Currently, I'm working on an assignment for the Netherlands Army at cryptography and PKI area. So too much and more in details I can't share, but
security reasons, of course.
Yeah, on the cybersecurity also. And yeah, very often get the opportunity to speak as a keynote speaker. So last week I was in Barcelona speaking on a conference, and the week before I was in Rome also speaking on a cybersecurity kind of conference. So that's quick and short about me.
Thank you for joining us, Sunil, and it's great to have you with us. And cybersecurity is extremely important, so I'm glad to have you with us on the panel today. Catherine, once again, I think this is like our 10th time together, but I love spending every roundtable discussion with you, so please do introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, Russell, and good morning from the Pacific Coast. I'm Catherine Kavanagh. I direct Screen 360 TV, a National Science Foundation project last year. And we are concerned with security because Screen 360 TV follows the kids. Kids, 350 million are playing Fortnite, and through global hubs, kids want to know what other kids in the world are doing. And so Screen 360 gives them guided opportunities through the film festival model, bringing them together over time in geographical borders. So we want to know what the world needs to be secure and to be able to connect them through that security.
Catherine, great to have you with us once again, and I'm very excited for around this roundtable discussion as well. Orestes, we'll go over to you next, and then Alison, last but not least, we'll get you on as well.
Good afternoon, everyone. Great to see you all here. My name is Peter Orestes. I'm the CEO and the founder of a company called GatherVerse, located in the Netherlands, and we're doing research regarding the digital transformation and disruptive transformation of a cross variety of sectors, from agriculture, education, healthcare, arts, and currently biotech. And I'm glad to see you all and shaping the discussion with my input also on many subjects. Interesting. And
Orestes, great to see you once again, and thank you for also joining us at GatherVerse. And like I said, last but not least, Alison, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, and it's great to be here with such a great panel, some of whom I've met before. Hi again. And so I'm Alison. I'm a serial tech entrepreneur and turned VC investor, and I'm really interested in the intersection between technology and tech for good and the social and environmental change that can bring for the planet. So really interested to hear all the opinions on today's session.
Absolutely, and thank you for joining us, Alison. And it's great to see you once again as well, some of our regulars here. So let's get into the roundtable discussion. So question one, and I am very looking forward to this, which is, can safety be measured, or is it something we only truly feel when it breaks down? Very interesting question, and maybe it's both, but I'll let the panelists answer this. So we'll start with yourself, Shule.
Yes.
Shule, we'll start with yourself, please. Yeah.
All right. So, as you said, very, very, very good question, very clever question. However, it's not easy to explain or answer like 100%, because when you talk about safety in technology, it differs from the technology generators, developers, to regular people on the street, to an academician, or to a parent. And starting from this very very deep discussion, the argument from the developer side says, I mean, it's variable. Some people are disturbed by certain things on social media, for example, the others don't. So it's a kind of protection for them, or an argument which we may accept or not. But this is their description of safety. But as for the regular people, it changes. For example, for me, being 40 something, I take safety as one description, or Gen Z is another. Let me take as Alison mentioned, Catherine mentioned about the restrictions that should be taken on social media under 18 or under 16. So actually, for example, let's take safety for Gen Z children, or the following generations. Who decides on the safety for the youngsters? Who decides for example, the disadvantaged people? Or, I mean, what is the main criteria? So to my understanding, it's absolutely the real discussion here that we have come so far. And Europe, I feel Europe as a master of regulation is very much struck in between innovation and safety of AI. I see this the very, very priority that the entire world should be speaking and debating about.
I agree, and when you're thinking about, could it be measured? I mean, maybe there could be some ways you could measure it. For example, you could measure on privacy, right? And if there's any sort of privacy breaches, you could measure it based upon cybersecurity standpoint, right? How many attacks that have happened and been mitigated, stuff like that. So there's mostly ways in which you can measure the safety, so to speak. But I can pretty agree with what you're saying. When it comes to the EU regulations and the regulations that have been put in place, there is a safety component there with the regulation side. Chantal, let's bring you into this conversation. What do you think about the safety? Could it be measured or not? Or what are your thoughts?
I love what Shule said about, different people have different perspectives. And I always say, define your definitions. So all of us look at safety very differently. Me personally, I don't necessarily look at it from a cyber perspective. I always look at it from a psychological perspective. And one person will feel safe in an environment where another person won't feel safe in that same environment. But if we step back and we take a bird's eye view of the world and where we're at the moment, we've got a loneliness epidemic. And this loneliness epidemic is exacerbated or even created by all this cyber connection. So we're highly connected, but we're highly lonely at the same time. And this loneliness means that we're feeling disconnected. And because of that, we're not feeling psychologically safe. So I wonder if we as a society started feeling more psychologically safe, more emotionally safe within ourselves, more connected, would it translate to how we show up in a tech-connected world?
Okay, that's very interesting. I guess that maybe comes from the standpoint of also how you feel, right? When you're defining, that sort of standpoint. So, Neil, you're a cybersecurity expert and you do a lot in defense and that. Do you necessarily agree with these statements, or do you find that it's different when it comes from your perspective of a cybersecurity angle?
I agree actually with the statement. It's kind of mixed where we are dealing with. Mainly we are looking at the part if it's breakdown or there has been an incident. Based on the incident, we are trying to mitigate, find the solution, what happened. So the way back to find the solution or how can we prevent it. So by adding those kind of indicators related to learning part, and how could we learn from the lesson what has been done. Based on that, you should be able to proceed. Mainly, I'm seeing the part of monitoring and check what happened and how can we mitigate this. There's very often a shortage on that, or not proper monitoring part has been in place to automate it also, but that is not the main reason, but it could be only the monitoring part what need to be done. As I put it as a sample, consider I have a car. We have know a car have report and crash report where the airbag pop-ups sample. Based on those logs, you should be able to see what's happened. And but mainly, when are you able to look at the logs? If the airbag plops up, an incident happened, on those where you should be able to check it. But the other part is your tire, your brake, your condition of your oil. Those parts need also to be measured. There are a lot of indicators in the car where we are able to see, but how we are able to do and check that in advance, those part is mainly missing, or very often missing in those environments.
That is true. And when we talk about because we think about safety, we think about regulations, we think about responsible AI or responsibility or responsibleness, right? In a nutshell, so to speak. Let me get to the next question actually, which is, does responsibility stifle innovation, or does it provide a competitive advantage to an ever-evolving world? Now, I want to take a higher level to this, where we look at the US, they're deregulated, right? They're focused on innovation, etc. Then you've got the EU, which is highly regulated and is adding more regulation, so to speak, right? Or shall I say, just more regulated in general. Then we look at also GDPR and CCPA and other regulations too. So from this lens, does responsibility stifle the innovation, as in regulation, making it responsible, so to speak, or does it provide a competitive advantage in an ever-evolving world? So, Jasper, we haven't forgot about you, so we'll bring you into this conversation. But before we do that, Nolwenn, do you want to try your microphone and see if we've got it working this time?
Do you hear me now?
Yes, we do. Please introduce yourself. Welcome.
I'm very sorry, everybody, about that. I have so many issues with my laptop since 2 weeks now, and I thought it was resolved, but no. So sorry for that.
Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, before to answer the question, I will quickly introduce myself. So I am a founder and managing director of an international consulting firm. Dedicated for tech area generally, but deep tech, low tech in different sectors, from data center, agriculture, finance, industry, blockchain. So very diverse. And what we do exactly, we work with our customers at global strategy to be sure they are aligned with SDG and they will be sustainable and exist in 10 years. That it is our mission. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for introducing yourself. We'll come back to that round to you. Don't worry, we've got a question for you just in a short while. Jasper, we're going to head over to you now, and then we'll head over to Catherine after for this question. So Jasper, please share us your thoughts on what I was saying before about, does responsibility stifle innovation, or does it provide a competitive advantage in an ever-evolving world? When we're talking about, even regulation, which adds potentially to the responsibility. But I'm going to hand the microphone to you.
Yeah. So in terms of regulation, I think it's because it is a balance. I think because if you over-regulate, then you might stifle innovation as you choke everything out. But if you probably regulate in a more balanced way, for example, in the EU we have the GDPR laws, and also have been working with that a lot. It's actually, when you first, in the beginning, it's a little bit a hassle and it takes too much, but it actually becomes more that, okay, you actually respect your customers' data and how you handle their personal information. So it's not just, oh yeah, we got the information and then we just throw the information all over the place and don't know where it goes, kind of thing.
Right.
So in that way, that's create this balanced approach where if you maybe also have open as it in the US, and that's where it can kind of lead to this that in the first place the intentions are good, we just want this take out as the maybe ones who develop it sees it can help people, but then you also have maybe some other people comes in and just say, I can take advantage of this and use this for my own benefit to do X, Y, and Z, but that's very bad for the customer.
Jasper, I'm just going to jump in quickly. Do you think responsibility though stifles innovation, as in like when you're taking responsibility yourself and accountability yourself, kind of thing?
No, I actually think when you actually take on your own responsibility, you actually create the innovation, because now you force yourself to think different.
Yeah.
So let me give an example. I was actually working with EdTech at one point, and there we were looking at. I was looking at another company that was in Australia, I believe, or New Zealand or something like that. And what they actually had done with their platform, where they were working with preschool, like small kids from maybe 8 to 11.
Okay.
They actually implemented systems that will activate, what you can say, some trigger warnings. So if one kid maybe typed, okay, how do I commit suicide, or maybe misspelled in some way, then it will trigger a warning to the teacher so they can go in and, okay, we need to look at what is happening to this kid so we can help them properly.
Right.
So in that way, that you can say you had the innovation to do that by taking the responsibility to actually make sure the kids are safe and they get the help that they need.
Catherine, do you agree with all that, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree that regulations are design constraints and simply challenge the designer to think within them and create within them. In the EdTech world, which Jesper just spoke about, we've got COPPA, FERPA, and then everyone who develops a platform has the ADA requirements, so that regulates colors that, for instance, that are visible to someone with low vision capacities. COPPA, this is the Children's Online PPPPA. I don't remember what that actually means, but that restricts children under age 13 from engaging without parental consent and more. And those are important guidelines. FERPA makes it intentional that parents can gain access to any kind of data that is collected for their children. And with Screen 360, we are research-based, and so we are very transparent about the data that we collect, and we want to engage participants as research participants so that they know that what they are showing us is developing further education and innovation that will support future knowledge, future education. And so that kind of mindset extended to participants online, we hope creates a more innovative future, more collaborative, innovative future.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting world we're also going into, right? I mean, with the whole AI world and that, like, it's as I like to call it, the age of AI. How do we? It's kind of like, how do we maintain that, so to speak, or how do we keep innovating that and pushing that forward?
Can I respond to that?
Sure.
Immediate feedback. So when data is taken, for instance, and matched, present it. After a session, for instance, with Screen 360, we present the feedback of the participants. For instance, if we ask a simple battery of questions for signing for onboarding, And for young people, it's simple things like, what's your favorite aroma? How do you like to fill a page? How do you get to school? What mode of transportation? And so at the end of a session, we can grab that, AI can grab that and present it to the students as points of empathy, how they connect. For instance, there were 5 students on this call who got to school by boat. There are 10 of you who love the scent of baking bread. And so these data points are moments of empathy for them to further remember and further remember the learning, the momentous learning event that just occurred. They watch at Screen 360 TV, they watch a film together and discuss it. And then the feedback reminds them of their login questions, which I just spoke about.
That's I think that's really good. I think feedback is extremely important for sure. I think it's important for innovation. And I'm not sure about the whole was it cooking bacon on the boat? That might not happen. It might not work. But
cooking and baking, but getting to school by boat. You might smell.
I'm not sure about that bit, but the rest I agree with.
Let's discuss it afterwards, Russell.
Okay, let's go to the next question, which is how can planetary sustainability truly scale in an era of acceleration? So what we're going to do is we'll go to Orestes, and then we'll go to Alison, and then Nolwenn, we'll go to you with the next question, and then also we'll bring in Sol as well. So Orestes, what are your thoughts on how can planetary sustainability truly scale in an era of acceleration?
Yes. So as we have witnessed, resource scarcity and climate change, and also not a correct utilization of inputs for accelerating in all the innovative domains are pushing the system to the limits, not only the food systems, but also the planetary systems and boundaries. I think that there should be a different regulatory, let's say, framework to incorporate all the available resources towards regenerative and sustainably driven productions and supply chains for either hardware devices or other devices that are used in large language centers. And there has to be also more research towards green energy and how this can be implemented in this type of acceleration, either with bio-based computing or other forms of circular resources and inputs. For example, utilizing recyclable plastic in wearables might be one small example. Yeah.
I would just add to that. Sorry, I would just add that. I'll just add to that, Orestes, as well, because you're talking about obviously regulation, which I think is extremely important for sure. But something that I also think about is also innovation itself. What I mean by that is, if you think about when you're talking about green energies, renewable energies, etc., like for example, there's not enough fresh water in the world basically to supply the infrastructure of AI, right? In terms of being able to keep all the data servers cool. So what we should be able to use is the sea salt water, right? Be able to convert that into fresh water and then be able to pump that into the infrastructure of the servers to be able to keep them cool, so to speak. So Orestes, when you're talking about innovation and renewable energy, just quickly, what are your thoughts on something like that, for example, that could be used to innovate AI in a nutshell?
Yeah, that's a really interesting approach on how we can have like a circular element to towards that green transition of such language centers. I think by utilizing the technologies, we can visualize in a way that concept and virtualize first before we move into that innovation. In terms of via means of digital twinning, this type of technologies. And yeah, that also corresponds back to the regulatory framework, because every technology has to be ethically driven and scaled. So we cannot think about also the circularity of such technologies, but also what this circularity that will bring a huge amount of outputs, what this will bring also to society.
Alison, I see you nodding your head over that as well. I mean, obviously, I completely agree when it comes to human values and making sure that AI is aligned with human values and regulations, etc. And also when it comes to an ethical standpoint, what are your thoughts when it comes to how can a planetary sustainability truly scale in the era of acceleration from your point of view?
So I think it kind of starts with, where we are today. And where we are today, we have a couple of, we have three, we have a lot, but three that I will touch on, three kind of hindrances. One is that we're still in an era of consumption.
Mm-hmm.
We're not in an era where we're consciously thinking about where we're buying because we want, not because we need.
Okay.
We're in an era where I've lost train of thought, but where
Oh dear.
it will come back to me. It will come back to me. But it's all about innovation and supporting that, and thinking we need to move away. The sustainability, my second point was sustainability goals from a global and planetary system are a nice framework, but they're conflicting, right? You can, reduce deforestation at the cost of water consumption. So you can conflict within the same framework. Also, the sustainability goals are also incredibly biased to Northern Hemisphere regions. And so there's a lot of research in the Philippines right now where they're trying to work on their own framework, because the sustainability metrics are really, really hard to map out there in a meaningful and impactful way. And so that really stifles that innovation. But I think it really comes down to circularity and energy. And using your example of, desalination of seawater for AI, desalination is incredibly energy intensive. And so our biggest threat today is energy sustainability. And because everything comes down to it, as we are trying to move away from fossil fuels and moving to electrical, how is that electric created? And the biggest innovation will be, how can we create electricity in other ways, in ways that are more, more sustainable and have a lesser effect on the infrastructure. But I think as well, we need to think about, planetary sustainability, and that, I currently live in Ireland, and we quite often have power cuts where power is diverted. I know, European country, power is diverted to the data centers as priority, rather than, housing and, the locality. And that's not even during storms or, times where there's disruptions. That's just all the time.
Right.
And I think that that's problematic, because I think that as AI keeps going, to me, we are prioritizing the machine rather than humanity. And that machine is not circular. That machine is generating more and more issues that is built by humanity, but yet we're prioritizing the machine. And so I think that this is something that I don't necessarily have the answer to, but it's something that would be a great conversation over a bottle of wine or whatever your drink of choice is. But it's how can you, if you've got a 9-year-old, 10-year-old making, queries on ChatGPT or Perplexity, that's the same energy consumption as boiling your kettle. So is that necessary? And at what point is that sustainable? And is it really necessary, or what has to drop off to allow that to happen? Because we can't continue on the trajectory that we are, because the governments have shown they're going to prioritize the data centers and not humanity, which is an issue for humanity that created this technology.
That is so true. And, I always say that, behind every great technology is humanity, right? Because we really, it's our own intelligence of mind, so to speak, which does the innovation, right? And comes up with the ideas. I mean, that's why we have computers now. That's why we have lights. That's why we have every single innovation has been invented by a human. So the fact that now, we're pushing AI and it's taking all these resources away, I completely agree with that. And we do need to put humanity first and make sure that, AI is aligned with human values. So let's go on to the next question now, which is shared...
Can I have a word about this? Just a few.
For this question, I'm going to go to Nolwenn first, and then I can come over to you after.
All right, it was a relevant joke. That's
okay. Well, go ahead. If it's a quick joke, I'm all for jokes.
No, so I just recently saw a video on Instagram. A guy runs out of electricity in the middle of the road, and another guy stops by, and the first driver asks for gas, and he answers, "So, how come your car runs with electricity? You're talking about the gas," and says, "Yes, exactly." And he takes out some gas from his car. The reason would be there's a machine, there's an engine at the back of the electricity car. So he brings it out and puts gas on it, and he produces electricity, and he charges his car.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this is a kind of actually creating alternative ideas and technologies and methods in the face of, as Alison says, the technology world, and the countries would actually choose to invest in data centers than the responsibility to the humans. That's the reason for which a lot of scientists work on alternative ways or methods. But I don't know how it's gonna end up with, but I'm not very hopeful about it, to be honest.
Oh, well, that's not good news. You're not very hopeful about it. Nolwenn, please join us. So my question for you is shared survival possible in a world of unequal resources? What are your thoughts, Nolwenn?
I have so many thoughts, to be fair. I think we don't have enough time to discuss this topic. Just before Alison, I work on data center market since 20 years now, and my thesis was about green data center. So clearly, it would be very interesting to discuss with you and carry on that, because yes, we have to consider where we will put our priority today and tomorrow for our children, because yes, but the future is not us, it is our children, so we have to take care of them, and energy is very important. So, however, to answer to your question, Rosa, which is a very difficult topic, I can't say personally we are unequal resources. We live, all of us, in the same planet, but the split of where is the metals, where is the resources are not in the same place.
Okay.
So, and I will give you one example, and very important, cobalt. So cobalt, it is mandatory to produce all of your high-tech products. You have cobalt on your mobile, on your laptop, on IoT, in all products you have cobalt. The country who extracts for the extraction, 63% is RDC, so Republic Democratic of Congo. Okay. So that's why there is some tension sometimes with another country, just at the east of this country. However, who change and transform these metals to be sure we can use it in our technology. It is not RDC, it is China. So that's China is very important today in tech area because they transform metals. And that is very key and fundamental. And in Europe, it's very important to know that. In Europe, we have a Critical Material Act. And for the Critical Material Act, it is to reduce our dependency, clearly, about from specific area region. Because we know that we live today in very strange time, to be fair. On the east, on the west, it is more or less the same. But we have to be sure in the future it will be help us. And many people, because we discuss about AI, yeah, great. We can discuss about NVIDIA, we can discuss about all of this company, but we have to we have to remind you that an European company, ASML, you need ASML company to produce the product of NVIDIA. Europe is very key today on the AI area. So many people don't know this company, and it's an European company, amazing, very confidential. We have also in semiconductor market, we have also European leaders like SMA Microelectronics. So we have to consider them also at the same time. But yes, we can live in unequal resources, but we should take attention about where these resources come from and what
100%. 100%, and I'll jump in as well, Nolwenn, because I saw this morning. I was actually watching the news this morning, and they were talking about how was it 63 million 63 million tons, I think, of like a certain what do they call it? Very like limited resources, basically. And it basically is all about like it sort of focuses on the magnets within like your earpods and stuff like that. And they're saying about how all of that comes from China because they have the mines and everything that they have for it. And they literally then take those minerals then create the products to then distribute it to the world, right? So when you're talking about that, and we're talking about the trade wars in which, Trump and which we won't go down that route, to be honest, but in a nutshell, I completely agree with what you're saying. When we're talking about this question, which is shared survival possible in a world of unequal resources? Really, we should be sharing those, resources as equal as possible. But there's a whole political game, so to speak, with that. So
it's clearly a political game. Clearly, all the time it is a political game. The access of metals, mining, minerals, it is a geopolitical game, clearly. But we should remind us that technology has a huge impact. But technology and innovation, because for me it is an opportunity to innovate. It's not only high-tech product. We can innovate with low-tech solution. We can innovate with frugal innovation. It's not mandatory to have all the time high-tech connected product. It's not mandatory. And what I wanted to add, it is, if you don't take care about that, it would be a lack of our humanity, because behind that, I see human traffic and children labor. So we should take care of all of things. So yes.
Well, thank you.
All the time about this topic. So
thank you for your input and your expression there. And I do agree. We need to be sharing the resources around for sure. And even Alison was nodding her head and agreeing as well. So now the next question is, what happens when responsibility collides with the need to innovate faster? So, if we look at US as a good example for this here, they've reduced the regulations, they're innovating. As I like to say, two things can be true at once, as in you can have safety and innovation at the same time. That's what I believe. But, I want to bring you guys into this conversation, especially Jasper, and we'll also go over to Sunil. The question is, what happens when responsibility collides with the need to innovate faster? What's your thoughts, Jasper?
I mean, the question sounds very much like what we see with the AI development right now. If you just follow what Elon Musk, for example, says about okay, we need to safeguard AI, make sure it also is safe, and then on the other hand, you have just companies going full speed ahead to innovate it and make it the best possible thing they can, while they just basically rip all the data from the entire internet. So I think, just to get to my point here, I think the way we probably in some way often sees it is that the regulation is in the way, or responsibility is in the way. But it's probably more just a mindset thing rather than actually, or you can say, a coalition. It is there because if you think about it, if you want to take responsibility and make it and to innovate fast, it's just require you to think in a different way, essentially, and innovate in a different way. But the way we have probably been used to innovate in the last maybe 200 years has just been full speed ahead. No thinking of how you. I will probably use the word here: respect the end user or where you take it from. That you can probably say there's a lack of respect. So you just go full steam ahead for your, when you say, own winning, or the company you are innovating for is winning.
Well, thank you, Jasper. And yeah, and I think there's a balance to everything, right? In a nutshell, really. Sunil, curious to hear from your perspective. Again, being the cybersecurity defense tag, from your lens and your point of view, what happens when responsibility collides with the need to innovate faster? From your point of view.
I'm able to see that fasting or having part very fast is one part, but they are not considering the whole architecture or the way how it has been designed. So mainly in a lot of IT projects, we have seen huge IT projects, but just proceed, security we will add later on or at the end. If that is the case, the security could be part to say the whole design is not correct, the architecture plate is not correct, go back and start again to build it up. That is one of the main reasons also a lot of IT projects was not able to proceed in the timelines what they got. Also, mainly the reason is security is too complicated. We are not able to understand what they are doing, especially cyber security, or by adding or have at least a pen tester to check if everything is fine. Those capability project leaders not able to add. So in those ways, yeah, they are able to say, okay, just proceed. We need it as soon as possible, but forget the way how we should be able to make it safe or secure.
Completely agree. And
add that one.
And we're running out of time, so we've got about 4 or 5 minutes left. So what I'm going to do, in order to have all our panelists involved, because I don't like to leave anyone out at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a question, and then basically each of you have 30 seconds to 60 seconds to answer that question. So then we can get at least everyone's input around the roundtable, so that we can get your thoughts and different point of view. So what I'm going to ask is, we understand where we're currently at right now within the EU and within AI technology and technology as a whole. What is it that each of you would like to see in the future? And obviously each of you can think about it, of course. Well, other than the person that starts, of course. But what is the thing that you would like to see in the future with AI? Let's say in the next 3 to 5 years. What is something that you would like to see happen within the innovation of AI? So we'll start with Jasper, and then we'll head over to Alison, Orestes, Sil, Nolwenn, Sunil, and then Catherine. So we'll go in that order. So Jasper, over to you. What's something you would like to see in the next 3 to 5 years in the AI innovation age, so to speak?
if we start from the base of it, because it's run on data, so you can say that probably some better guidelines and regulation in regards to what data is these AI companies actually allowed to train on, so there's better like structure and a better framework on that. Because I think with AI, that's kind of where the core problem is. It starts there, how they scrap the data, because you can see just with OpenAI, the first thing they did was just scraping the entire internet. How does royalty works for books, music, lyrics, and all these kind of things now when the AI can do it.
I completely agree. Better guidelines, better regulations. Completely agree. Alison, 30 seconds, please. What is something you would like to see in the future in the age of AI in the next 3 to 5 years, let's say?
I'd like to see dark data disappear. So all those things you don't need to save on, like I'd like to see your data have an expiry and delete date, or an opt-in, because I think that is just slowing down the latency and slowing down the system. So I don't have the answer to how you would do that, but I think dark data needs to disappear.
Orestes, please share your thoughts as well. And I agree with you, Alison, by the way. Orestes, please share your thoughts. What's something you'd like to see in the next 3 to 5 years?
It would be nice to see by my eyes, but also probably from the humanity's eyes, if the humanity agrees with me. Disruptive, ethically driven, and sustainable innovation, with the main goal making mankind a better place for the humans, but also opening the boundaries, the planetary boundaries and the galaxy boundaries for other opportunities that they might arise by incorporating this type of technologies in various sectors, for example, space aviation.
Orestes, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Next on the...
Yeah, it's me, right? So I'm hoping, just hoping that the guidelines and the safeguards have to have one understanding and one definition, so that all the countries and the technology developers should obey with this. They have to be obliged to obey or align themselves with these regulations. And my realistic hope is that we should take children first, and this is going to happen. Just recently, Denmark announced it, so this is coming, and children are the first in terms of human-centric AI applications. So I believe this is going to happen.
100% agree on that. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Thank you for sharing that as well. I didn't realize Denmark had that. So you're even teaching me that something that I don't know. So thank you for that. Nolwenn, what is something you would like to see next 3 to 5 years in the age of AI?
In AI, my dream, it is we embrace more diverse people, including neurodivergent in our team, clearly, because our richness is our difference. So if you want an innovative, sustainable, and more inclusive future, I think we should include everyone. So every provider, we need them, and we need all brands. That's it in my dream.
Thank you, Nolwenn, for that. Sunil, your thoughts, please.
I hope that we are able to defend ourselves better with AI opportunities and possibilities, what the good actors are able to use, but also the bad actors. So we hope we are preparing ourselves better, much better on cyber level. Still a lot of organizations don't prepare properly on cyber. So with adding AI, it will be much harder. So hopefully we are able to prepare better, because we know already the attacks will be more, will be better, and even security professionals having issues and difficulties to recognize and knowing this kind of professional attacks are coming. So that, and another part will be indeed maybe better to have everyone in the globe the same kind of GDPR and those kind of regulations what we are using in Europe. So that can help also to make us safer in the future.
Completely agree about the defense side of things, 100%. Sunil, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts there. And last but not least, the lovely Catherine, please share your thoughts.
Well, I hope that AI can support the coordination of the gatekeepers, the funding gatekeepers, to cross borders and understand the value of travel through technology, and travel as a learning tool, and so that they will fund things that support education through travel-like immersive experiences, and trust. That trust increases both with those funders, those gatekeepers, as well as those users who are embarking out into the world to meet their international peers.
Catherine, thank you for sharing. And that is it for this roundtable discussion. And I will quickly share mine, actually. Mine would be a trustworthy future, which everyone can trust AIs in a nutshell. Verification, trust, and it earning our trust, basically, over time. But anyway, that's all we've got time for. Thank you so much to all the panelists. Please do follow them. Check them out on LinkedIn. They're all available on LinkedIn. So go on, you check them out on there. Make sure you follow, connect, etc. It's been a fantastic roundtable discussion. And we've got much more roundtable discussions and fireside chats happening as well. And that is it from this panel. So I'll gather as well. And thank you very much, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.